Houston, do you see this? I've got an unidentified flying object out here.
This is Houston. We copy. It looks like a Ford F-150 pickup truck.
Thanks, Houston. That's what I'm seeing too, but that's not just any pickup truck. That's
the magic pickup truck.
Hi, Mr. Bingaman. The next lesson that we need to cover in the book is about how plants get energy. Do you have any ideas about what we might need to do for the lesson?
Yeah, why don't we go outside and watch some seeds germinate and watch some photosynthesis happen?
I mean, the ground's still all frozen over. How are we going to show photosynthesis?
Oh, we'll just have to go somewhere farther south, get somewhere where it's still green.
That's going to take hours.
Oh, it's a magic pickup truck.
I guess that's true, yeah, let's do that. Oh, we got here pretty quick.
Yeah, it's a magic truck.
I know, there's this dirt field, good.
Right. But they just seeded this field, so we're gonna get to see some germination right close up.
Oh, all right, let's get out and take a look then.
All right.
Yeah, I can see that this entire field is just covered in grass seed, but seeds are essentially embryonic plants that are enclosed in a protective shell. So I guess my question is, what has to happen to that seed in order to get it to germinate or go through a process of coming out of dormancy?
That's a great question, because what happens is this is an example of response to stimulus, the thing we talked about at the beginning of the year that all living things do. Seeds are still a living thing. They're still a living part of that plant, but they're asleep, they're dormant. And then when the rain comes in the springtime and the sun starts shining down on the field, the increased moisture and the increased heat tell the seed it's time to germinate. And they respond to that by soaking in the water and then using it to amp up their metabolism and start growing.
I guess that makes total sense. So there's a package of food for the seed until it's able to make its own food, like an autotroph. An autotroph, if I recall, is a type of organism that makes its own food, and that's how plants operate, but also other types of organisms, like some microorganisms and some types of algae.
That's absolutely right.
In order to see germination, we'll have to get down to be pretty small. Is the magic pickup truck ready for this?
Oh, you bet. We just need to shift it into small wheel drive.
Great. I guess we better get in and get ready to go.
Oh, cool. Look at that.
Ah. Science. Nice.
Science. Yeah.
Plants make their own food through a process called photosynthesis. In order to make this process happen, plants must have certain inputs. These inputs involve energy that comes from the sun, carbon dioxide gas, and water. Carbon dioxide enters through an opening in the plant called a stoma. The plural form is called stomata. Water is collected through the root system. Once those inputs are collected, they are allocated to the cells in the plant. The image depicted here is a simplified plant cell. As you can see, the outer layer has a rigid cell wall, followed by a semi-permeable barrier called a cell membrane. The nucleus contains genetic material of the cell. Cytoplasm is a jelly-like fluid that all the organelles float in. Unique from animal cells, plant cells contain organelles called chloroplast. These chloroplasts are filled with a green pigment called chlorophyll. After carbon dioxide and water reacted with energy from the sun, one of the main outputs is sugar. The sugar can be stored in the cytoplasm or moved in other parts of the plant for later use. The reallocated sugar can be stored as a more complex carbohydrate molecule, like starch. and it could be stored in other parts of the plant, such as the flowers, the stems, or the root system. The sugar itself is not energy. It can be used later to generate energy that is known as ATP. We will cover this sometime later in another lesson. The plant also inadvertently produces oxygen during this reaction. The oxygen is released back into the environment. So to reiterate, water and carbon dioxide are reacted in the chloroplast of the cell to make products such as sugar and oxygen. This is how the reaction looks if it is a balanced chemical equation. I guess we probably should head back now. And we're back.
And we're back.
And
Look
this
at that.
field is totally green now. Check out this lush field of green. Thank you, photosynthesis.
And thank you, Magic Pickup Truck. You know, I was just thinking, do you think the plants use all of the sugar they produce from photosynthesis for their energy?
Well, actually, not all the sugar is being used in the plant. Some sugar might be allocated to different parts of the plant or even different organisms. For example, if another organism like a rabbit consumes the plant, the sugars that were contained in the plant or being stored as starches or even simple sugars have been transferred to the rabbit. And that rabbit will use the sugars to produce their own energy or ATP.
That's amazing. So plants just give us starches and sugars for our own energy needs, and they give us oxygen too. Wow, plants are amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's great then that oxygen is one of the outputs of photosynthesis. You know, have you ever thought about that maybe the plants are farming us? Maybe plants are just nourishing us with oxygen and then waiting for us to decompose so they can consume us. Did you ever think about that?